Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another recent deck roundup. This is a video I like to share all the stuff that's come in lately. So whether it's something I've been sent, gifted, bought, any of that kind of stuff, I like to bring it in here. Usually it's going to be decks, but I do have one book I want to show off today. So, well, there's more books, but the other books are deck related. So one non-deck related book. So we're going to talk about it. These are effectively a haul. This is all the stuff that's come in. These are things that have come in since the last time I did one of these. So that's the timeline, usually roughly a month or so. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing I want to show is the Wild Seeker Tarot. I found this on Etsy and I think I was just browsing, or maybe somebody told me about it. I can't remember, but it's kind of funny. Right after I ordered this, there were some people in my Unicorn Fam secret Facebook group. That's the group for members of the channel membership here. Emerald Fern had actually mentioned this deck and I was like, oh my God, this one's on my way or on its way to me. And I'm really excited. So I pre-ordered it. I think this is one, I don't know if I covered this in a previous hot takes or anti-haul. I literally don't remember, but I thought it was really sweet that the creator sent along with the deck this piece of artwork. Let's take a look. And then I'm going to show you the deck. I'm really excited about the deck actually because I think it's going to be a really good deck for self-worth work. Yeah, this is like, it's like a little, it looks like it's like a little crayon or colored pencil, like straight up just like little drawing. So it says Deep Roots. How lovely is that? But that's like an original. It's an original piece of art, not a print. So that's super fun. Love that. So that's really cool that the creator sent that along. And you also get, when you order from this shop, I know this is a little bag. I'm not going to put it back in the bag, but I know that you do get a coupon code for your next purchase from them. I don't know what else they have in their shop. I can't remember. It was a while ago, y'all. So I'm going to set that aside there. Let's get into the cards. So this really excited me. It felt like it would make a really good, like sort of body positive / self-worth kind of deck. There was something about the quirkiness of the artwork. It doesn't have thumb cutouts, but it's really easy to get the lid off. So I'm about it. It's pretty. So it's the Wild Seeker Tarot. I will have this link down below, like with everything else that I show. Guidebook is a staple bound, basic, no images, but pretty decent descriptions here. And it does tend to be a pretty empowering sort of message, I've noticed. I haven't worked with it yet, but I have definitely flipped through it. I think I've also shuffled it. Oh, I did work with it. I lied. I did a reading for myself with this and it was actually really fun. So I used to try for these videos just to not get into things really until I showed them to you, and then I'm like, no. As usual, if there's any decks that I show today that you really want to see a walkthrough of, don't forget to comment down below. You guys probably know the drill by now, but comment down below. Upvote each other's comments so I know which ones y'all most want to see. So it really is helpful if like you upvote each other's, because then I know, okay, people really want to see the Wild Seeker or one of the other decks I'm showing. And also I tend to test out a lot of the decks that I show, well, some of the decks that I show in these roundups in my monthly member readings for Magical Unicorns and up in my channel membership group. So I do a monthly reading event. It's a live stream. It's epic length. It's like 4 or 5 hours often. And I do readings for everybody. And so this will definitely be available. Now, what I like about this is that I feel like it's got a real wide range of types of people and bodies. It's got this sort of smushy, squishy, fluffy sort of look to it. There's a lot of nudity, but it's this very kind of like quirky, artistic nudity. I just really, really love this. I feel like, again, it's got a lot of representation in the types of bodies, and it just feels very affirming. I'm also a huge fan of the colors in this deck. So yeah. I really have enjoyed my time with it so far, but I've only just, like I said, done the one reading. Like, look at this 5 of Cups. It's very stylistic. There is a weird texture to the cards as if they're just ever so slightly uneven. I notice when I shuffle it, which I'll show you in a second, but that's a pretty minor thing. The cardstock doesn't feel like expensive. It feels like exactly like you'd expect in, say, like a basic mass market kind of tarot or oracle, which is something to keep in mind if you're looking for like luxury. I don't feel like this is like luxurious, but I do really like it. Love the artwork. Love, love, love the artwork. And I'm a cardstock snob, so like take my cardstock comments with a grain of salt and all. But yeah, there's just ever so slightly a texture. It's very, very, very minor. I don't know how to describe it, and I might be making it up. Hold on. I think I might be making it up because I feel like I noticed it the first time, but it could have just been that the deck was new, so it was kind of like doing a weird thing where it wasn't feeling even, because now the cards are mixing up perfectly. So disregard that earlier comment. But anyway, it's really lovely. And I just love that it's not just female looking figures. It's, you know, a mix of peoples, which I like. So that is the Wild Seeker Tarot, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be my go-to for self-worth based readings for myself, because I just love the sort of accepting vibe. Brina, I think, Shields is the author. A deck for bold explorers of the heart. Really happy about this purchase and can't wait to play with it some more. Now I also got in, this was something that I was going to save for a Say Yes to the Deck, and then I realized I was just going to buy it anyways. So you might know already that I am a huge fan of the Rainbow Heart Tarot. I have the full-sized one here, and I have such mixed feelings about this. Okay, so let me show you. So I have an early edition of the Rainbow Heart Tarot that's full-sized, and the cardstock is just lovely. It's sort of semi-matte classical style cardstock. It's got some snap to it. There's no gilding or hard edges. It shuffles really, really nicely. It's a little bit stiff, and the cards are a little bit oversized. So do I have I'll show you later when I have a standard tarot, I guess, but they're a little wider than a standard tarot. So they've got a boxy sort of shape, a boxier shape than we're used to for tarot, but it handles really nice. The big issue I have with this deck is I want to use it all the time, but the readings that I want to use it for clients, for example, are often for like a Celtic cross, or, which is like my favorite spread of all time, or other larger spreads, because the artwork I feel like just works so well for larger spreads. Like, it's not cluttered, it's really clean, the colors are great, it's really vivid, and I love that for larger spreads, but the cards are so big by comparison, and I tend to, for my larger spreads, use mini decks. So I'm like, I really need to get this deck in particular in a mini. It was so pricey though, y'all. It was really pricey. In Canada, it was pricey. Still worth it, but pricey. So I picked up the mini, and I'll just show you the difference here in the size of the cards. It is gilded though, and it's thicker, which for a mini deck is a shame, and I'll explain why. But here's the size difference. So it's the perfect size for like Celtic cross and larger spreads. I can get so many of the cards down on the table, which is the whole reason I wanted it. But like, the cardstock is different. Like, you can tell, oops, I'm making this up. This other one's actually a little bit slidey because it's not perfectly matte. This newer cardstock, which I think is similar to the newer editions of the Rainbow Heart. My copy of this deck was the first edition, I believe. And in later editions, she switched to a more matte cardstock. But you can see by the way the light catches this one and not this one, that this cardstock is more matte. But to show you the difference in size, let's see if I can show you. I'm going to stack the mini next to the full size, and you can see it doesn't start to get the same height until there. So that's how much extra height you have on the mini. And because it's thicker, here's my beef, okay? When you go smaller, then if you go smaller in size, the decks are actually stiffer just because there's less room for them to bend, less leverage, I guess you could say. So as it is, I actually prefer mini decks to be slightly thinner and more flexible than their full-size counterparts, and this goes the opposite direction, which is a bummer. Plus, this deck retains its same kind of more square shape. So I would say this is like a poker size or bridge size deck. It's a smaller, I think, poker. It's like a playing card style size, but it's stiffer to begin with. So it's a thicker cardstock, and it's stiffer, and it's smaller. So I've got less leverage. So I cannot riffle this to save my life, which is a bummer. I actually have tried, and you can probably see if I like let the cards relax in my hands, some kind of waviness. Oh, maybe with the gilding you won't be able to tell, but there's some gaps. That's from where I've kind of sort of bent the cards a little bit just by trying to shuffle them, but I cannot riffle them. Now I can kind of carefully drop them like that, but I love a good riffle, so that's a bummer. But it's nice and stiff, so it does do a really nice hand over hand, and the cards do not clump. So for that reason, I do really like it. And I do gotta admit, as much as I'm not riffling it, so I don't have to worry about how it feels, but the golden rainbow edging is pretty. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So for this one, I will have to shuffle it this way. I can riffle it, but I have to break it in to 4 piles. And I'm not a big fan of this method, but I'll show you. Even then, it feels kind of stiff to riffle. Like, it's doable, but it's stiff. So riffling is not going to happen. We'll see. When I first got this, I was like, oh, I'm going to get rid of my full size because I don't need it. But now I'm like, as much as I'm glad I have this in a smaller size, and I do think I'll use it more now that it's in this size, and I have already used it a bunch. As much as that's the case, I really hate not being able to riffle. It's a real bummer, so because that's just how I operate. So that is the Rainbow Heart Tarot Mini, again, or Pocket Edition. Yeah, Pocket edition by Rachel Rosencoder. Again, I love this deck. I really, really do. I've got a full walkthrough of the full size up on the channel that I'll try to remember to link somewhere for you. But I really, really love the images in this deck, and I love how clean and clear it is. It, to me, is almost like a Lenormand-like tarot in a way because it feels clean, but it's not boring. Like, it doesn't, it's Rider-Waite Smithy, but it goes its own way in enough places that, yeah, that I just really feel like it gives me more stuff to work with intuitively, but also is really clear and clean, which again, works really well for readings like big general readings that I do, bigger spreads. So really excited to have it, but I do think for now I'm gonna hold on to my full size and see if I ever reach for it. But I'll be honest, this is one of my favorite decks and I rarely reach for it because of the size. So as much as the shuffle is nicer, I don't benefit from this larger size in this deck, if that makes sense. Oh, book-wise, I don't think there's a book. Yeah, there's no guidebook for the little mini. There might be a digital. I wasn't really paying attention because I've never really needed the guidebook for this deck. But the full size, again, this is my 2020 edition, the first edition of the Rainbow Heart is, does come with a little guidebook, but I've never really used it, to be fair. Plus, I mean, it's so hippie. It just works with this bag too. So I don't know. I'm definitely going to keep this for now, but I think I'm going to purgatory it and see if I ever feel like I want to reach for it. The cardstock is so much better though. Okay, anyways, okay, whatever. It is what it is. Okay, this next purchase was 100% inspired by the fact that I bought and loved the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot so much, but I did purchase the Luna edition of the Ethereal Visions Tarot. Now I had the Ethereal Visions Tarot, the regular normal edition, and I ended up rehoming it because the colors were just a little bit too pale and not washed out, but they were desaturated. They were lighter colors. And I just didn't find myself really reaching for it, but I really love this edition. I also have to admit, I am like a sucker for this silver holographic rainbow edging or rainbow foiling. There's something about it that I find especially attractive. I like it so much more than a gold rainbow, and the Ethereal Visions had a gold accenting on it. I know that seems so superficial, but it's true. I also had an idea when I saw this deck of how I might want to work with it, so I'll give some thoughts on that. But it comes with a nice chunky guidebook, which is exciting. Yeah, that's exciting. So we'll see. And let's take a look at a few of the cards. So it does have this gorgeous, just very blingy silver holographic. This is a more diverse edition than the initial Ethereal Visions, which is something else that I really am attracted to. It's not perfect by any stretch, but no deck is, right? I really like it. I think it's really beautiful. And this one feels, even the regular colors feel more rich, more saturated in a way that I like. Like it still retains its softness. The sad thing is I'm not sure. I love this tower card so much with the mask on the person's face. Oh my God, so good. I'm not sure if this will just compete directly with my Fyodor Pavlov, and I'm kind of tempted to do a walkthrough of this deck, but a side-by-side with the Fyodor Pavlov. If that's something that would interest you, definitely let me know. A bit of a this or that with just those two decks. Oh, I forgot. Okay. This is the card that will probably, yeah, like maybe I forgot. This is one of the cards that I was like, this for the 10 of Cups is everything to me because we see a masculine woman here, which I love. I love, 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 with a more feminine woman. This is just my thing, okay, y'all? This is my life and it's very, very personal and very meaningful to me personally, but there's so few decks that feature that that was a real thing. And there is another one. Yeah, there's another more masculine woman, which I really love. So yeah, I am personally really, that's a big deal to me. So yeah, that'll probably make sure that this stays in my collection, even if just for that. I know that sounds probably really superficial, but otherwise I really love this deck. I've seen some really useful critiques and fair critiques of this deck as well. But for me, I think the pros probably outweigh the cons. I'm just not sure though, if I go to actually do a reading, am I going to think to reach for this above the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot, which has, again, a very similar vibe? So I don't know. I'm a little bit torn, but I really do think this is pretty. And there is something I want to see. I had a thought, so I'm going to leave this here for a second. I had the thought that this deck might look really beautiful, and I don't often pair tarot with tarot, but I thought it might look really beautiful with the Fortuna Tarot, which also has this rainbow holographic. Okay, come on. Like, this is a more minimalist. Okay, they do look really gorgeous together. Like that's what the backs of them look together. And there's the fronts. They've both got this like purple and silver rainbow holographic deal going on. This is very aesthetic to me. I could see actually doing like a couple of these cards around like one of these being a really neat way to work with these decks together. And this pulls in a lot of astrology too, which could be cool. This has a very sort of high vibe, sort of cosmic feel to it a little bit as well. Maybe it's just the gilding that does that to me. I don't know. Or the foiling rather. But I thought, yeah, it might go really nicely with the Fortuna. And I don't think I was wrong about that. This is the Amethyst Aura edition of the Fortuna, by the way. So yeah, we'll see. I'm a little bit mildly on the fence. Why is there like a... Do you see that? There's like a gap. I don't know why. Probably it was printed in a way where it came out in 2 stacks and was then combined. I'm guessing that's what happened. But it's perfectly even. It's fine. And there's no edging on the deck either. So that is the Luna edition of the... I'm going to put the box on top. That's the Luna edition of the Ethereal Visions Tarot. This came out by US Games. Really nice box. I love all the foiling. It's blingy. I think there's a part of me that might just want to keep it just because it's pretty. You know what I mean? You ever have that like kind of feel? All right, so let me put the Fortuna away again. So I also got in a little Kickstarter. So this is the Kickstarter for the 78 Tarot Magical. 78 Tarot Magical. I was excited about this, but also hesitated. Like I really wanted it for curiosity's sake, I think is the thing. I love the concept of 78 Tarot, and I have the 78 Tarot Mythical, and I really like it. But I also don't really use it that much. And I knew that when I backed this. So I backed it for just the pocket sizes, and I have a feeling these are going to end up in a little giveaway. So I only got the pocket. I didn't get the separate guidebooks. They come with these neat sleeves, but there's a tarot and a matching oracle. And so I got them both in this little pocket size. I do think these will make a fun giveaway. I'm not going to lie. So, I will say I'm not impressed with the cardstock on these little minis. They feel really cheap. Not bad, like I'm sure it's fine. And like I mentioned before, don't get me wrong, if a pocket edition is too thick, it's not shuffleable. And I think these are going to be, have I already shuffled them? Yes, I tested the shuffle already. So these will be, what happened here? Hold on. What's going on? There we go. What? Okay, hold please. I'm having an issue. I want to make sure the cards are all upright. Okay, yeah. So these feel cardstock wise exactly like, I don't know how to describe this, like exactly like a generic mass market kind of cardstock. Nothing fancy. But they are fairly affordable if I remember correctly. And they do flex and bend. So you don't want too thick of a cardstock. I think I was a little disappointed that they weren't like, I don't know, perfectly matte, but they're that basic satin. Again, nothing fancy. You can see they catch the light, so they do have a sheen on them, but they're not glossy. They're just not matte, right? They're in that in-between space. My thing is that it's a collab deck, and I knew better kind of when I ordered it, but I was like, well, I'll check it out, and if I don't like it, or if I don't think I'm going to use it, then I will use it as a giveaway. So keep an eye out for the next time Peggy and I, well, actually, let me think. Tell you what, by the time you see this, we may already have done a giveaway. We'll see. At the time I'm filming this, this video is due to come out just after the weekend. I'm filming it on the weekend, and Peggy and I are going to be live tomorrow, so maybe it will have already found a home. I'm just saying. If not, stay tuned. If not, stay tuned. But anyway, that's the tarot. And then the oracle is called the Fool's Items Oracle, which is a super cute idea. And it's like all these different objects, but there's no keywords on the card. So you have like Akashic Records, altar, amulet, armor, athame, etc. Right? You have all these different things. Oh, I think they were in order, and I just got them out of order. Oh well. Element. And then you've got the elements. Same cardstock, same deal. There's quite a few cards, but I like this kind of oracle deck to have keywords. So again, this was more just something I thought I would check out in person and see what I thought. And now I've seen it, and I'm probably not going to keep it. So yeah, I will be doing, if I haven't already, I will be doing some kind of giveaway with these as a set. I think that'd be fun. Let's take a look, though, at the little extra Kickstarter goodies and see if any of those are staying with me or if they're going to leave as well. So those are the little, they're cute, though. They're a nice size. They're a good size for minis. Oh, I think there was a magnet that I already pulled out of here. Yeah, I pulled out the magnet of the star card because it's got a unicorn. There's this magnet. It's a really, really super thin floppy magnet, but it's of the mushrooms from the Fool's Items. These are some stickers of some of the cards. There's a couple of bookmarks. These are really pretty. The artwork, I will say, on all these decks, on these 78 Tarot decks, are exquisite. The reason I keep my mythical 78 Tarot is because I do love the artwork. So these are like postcard size prints, really high gloss, really beautiful. The artwork is really lovely. It's just a collaborative project. So there's all these different kinds of art and art styles. So yeah, I think I will let all of these goodies go. I think I kept the one little magnet. I think that's what I'm keeping. I think everything else I'm giving away. So I'm going to slide this stuff all back in here so it can kind of stay together for whoever ends up. It's not going to stay. Like the bag's already ripping, but at least it'll kind of be contained. So yeah, that is the 78 Tarot. Probably not staying, but I'm super glad I took a minute to check it out. And I'm always happy to support the projects that this team does because I think they're really cool. So yeah. The next thing is also a maybe regret. We'll see. We'll find out. I'm really excited to have it, but we'll see. So I have had and loved the White Sage Tarot in a tin for a long time. I love this deck so much. This is the mass market US games version. I use this deck a lot for larger spreads, much like I wanted to be able to use the Rainbow Heart Tarot. I love this. It's pips, but it's got a heavy influence of the chakras throughout, and I think the chakra influences are very, very well done in this deck. It's, to date, my favorite tarot that has a chakra overlay. I really, really love it for that. So, and it's just a really sweet, calm, gentle, lovely, neutral kind of deck to begin with. So I love this deck so much. And so I put on my wish list that I was looking for a copy of the indie edition of, and it was kind of a spontaneous thing. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to see if anybody has an indie copy, a full size of the White Sage Tarot. And I put it in my Facebook group on Tarot Trade Tuesday. I listed that I was looking for one of these. And the very same day, Samantha Menzo was decluttering some decks on her channel and listed a independent copy of the White Sage Tarot, the full size. And I was like, gimme! And I found out because my friend Varen actually messaged me and was like, hey, this is over there. So I was able to hop right on it immediately. And I was so excited, and Samantha was so sweet and sent it out to me really quickly and lovely. And she normally only ships in the US, so I was able to beg and plead, and of course cover any additional shipping, etc. But it was really sweet of her to do the extra hassle of sending it to me internationally, and I'm so glad I have it. But now that I have it, I'm like, but do I need it though? But I do love. I have to say, I love having a full size copy. And I wonder if I'll use it in more spreads having this edition of it. But the cardstock, I'm so used to the US Games cardstock that this cardstock feels really flimsy and kind of almost like cardboardy. And this is the deck. I just realized, I think this is the one that has that funny, like, slight unevenness. Yes, it's this one. It's ever so slightly uneven. So when I go to shuffle it, I feel like it catches a little. Nope, making it up on this one too. Y'all, I don't know which deck it was that was doing that. This is a very thin and bendy deck. Which is fine, but just to sort of see the side by side. I wonder if part of it too is that my hands are just used to this copy, so it just feels different. But really, they're actually, if I look at this, they are identical. Like the cardstock, they are the exact same, pretty much. Yeah, if I push them both down with equal pressure, they're the same. They're the same exact height. So the cardstock is just as thin as the smaller one, but as I mentioned earlier with the Rainbow Heart Pocket, decks feel more bendy when they're bigger and more stiff when they're smaller, when they're made out of the exact same cardstock. So that's why this one seems to feel more bendy as a result. But gosh, I really love the White Sage Tarot. So no, you know what? I'm pretty pleased. I do want to compare colors real quick. So let me find that Queen of Cups because I do love her so much. She's an otter and I love her. There she is. Yeah, I thought so. So the cards are more saturated in the pocket. Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait, that's the King of Cups. Yo, hold on. But they both have tea. Okay, let me get the Queen of Cups. I might be making things up. Hold on. They might be the exact same color style. I was like, why do those... Ah, yeah, they're the same. I'm pretty sure they're the same. Slightly more saturation, ever so slightly. Really shows up on camera. It's a little softer on this side than it is on this side. But yeah, I do think I will probably reach for this for myself for readings more in this version because for some reason, my little pocket decks, I tend to reserve these for clients, for bigger spreads for clients. And so when I'm just thinking to pull some decks for like a tag, or I'm thinking of pulling some decks for a video, or just for myself to like work with for a week, I almost never pull my travel decks, my pocket size. I tend to use these for clients for bigger spreads. I'm a broken record, I know. So I do think it'll get more use having this larger version. So now that I've actually pulled them out and sat them side by side, I'm really pleased. with this. So not a regret. I take it back. I was a little worried for a minute that I was like, oh man, am I going to just still want to only use the pocket size? But I like this. The only other downside to this indie edition is that there is a little copyright of the artist, Teresa Hutch, on every single card. And I wish that wasn't there because it's not there on the front of the US Games version. US Games tends to put their copyright discreetly on the back of the cards, which I'm also not necessarily a huge fan of, but I understand it. But having it on the front of the cards is a little disruptive just because these cards are so clear and cleanly illustrated. Like there's not a lot of clutter. So the copyright really shows up for me. But I think I can just ignore that over time. So yeah. Either way, I'm really, really, really glad to have this indie edition because you can't get this anymore. It's out of print, and I'm just really grateful that I had an opportunity to get it. Oh, it's upside down. The box is upside down. Can't have that. But yeah, that's the White Sage Tarot by Teresa Hutch. Just a lovely deck. Very underrated in my opinion. I think it's really well done. So, yay! Okay, so that's a win. That's a happy. My basket of decks fell down because it got back heavy. Okay, next up, this was sent to me as a gift, and oh, I forgot to put the sleeves back on our little magical 7/8 Tarot Magicals. There we go. I just realized my candle is almost completely done. I'm waiting for it to completely burn out, so if it's low and black, that's why. Anyway, this next deck was sent to me as a gift, and it came like literally on the perfect day. It was a really, really hard day for me that day, and Serafina, the creator of the Earth, Moon, and Shadow Oracle, sent me this, and with a really, really lovely note that basically said that this deck is about to be out of print. Well, at least out of stock. I shouldn't say out of print. It's about to be out of stock. It might be by the time I'm recording this video, because I've had this now for a couple weeks. But this came in on a really, 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 really bad day. And I was really just not doing well. And this showed up with the sweetest note that basically just said that, you know, Serafina had noticed in my videos I've been talking about doing some trauma work and doing some healing work. And she literally just said, I just want you to have it. And I thought that was just really, really super kind of her. I have had the pleasure to meet Serafina in person. We met when Peggy and I hosted a meetup at a local hotel nearby the Northwest Tarot Symposium this past year. And I had a chance to meet and chat with Serafina, and lovely person, really passionate about what she's doing and creating, which is awesome to see. But it was just really sweet of her. So it really hit. I have not worked with it yet. I've needed something much more gentle lately. I've like literally been reaching for like my guardian angel tarot and stuff. But it was really kind of her to send this. I have to say, it's neat that the bag that came with this deck fits the deck with its box, which is kind of cool. I always put my stuff in Peggy bags, but I think this might actually just live in this bag for a while because it's kind of neat that it's got its own matching bag. I have not dug into this in any depth, but I have looked through the cards, and I've also looked up some guidebook entries, and I do like the way that the guidebook is written. I think it's very well produced and well thought out. There's also some really great spreads in here. So this is really a deck intended to help you do shadow work type work. Like the Earth, Moon, and Shadow is really meant to help with that kind of a thing. The cardstock feels really lovely. This reminds me, if you've ever gotten a Taroko Studios tarot, so like the Revival Art Tarot is the one that I think most people would know. It feels like that. Like it's got a really silky matte kind of coating or lamination on it. It feels really lovely. So included in the deck, you also get some spread cards, which is great. So you don't have to even use the book if you don't want to. And this has, again, I apologize because this is probably out of stock when I'm showing it to you. I'm sorry. But it does have like your message on the card, and then it has some keywords, which I really love. It's also a nice size. Like a lot of times Oracle decks are like more oversized, but this feels like a regular, like a little bit smaller. I wish I had, oh, I do have a reference. I have the White Sage. This is pretty close to standard tarot. So I can show you now finally. So yeah, it's a little bit wider. This might be a little narrow too, but it's a little bit wider and a little bit shorter. And it just feels like a nice size. But yeah, the cards are really, really matte, but they don't feel clumpy and they don't feel rose petally. They're smoother than that. So lovely deck. It's not edged. This is what the backings look like. But this really struck me when it was on Kickstarter, and I don't remember why I didn't back it. I think I probably just was in a phase where I was just like not talking myself into it, trying to use what I have. But I love this, and I'm so grateful to have it. And the keywords in here, there's a lot of stuff here that will help you do. Like here we have protection and defense and refuge. Here we have troubles, misfortune, and amends. So some really great keywords for doing the kind of work that's more confronting. I'm not saying this is going to work for everybody for shadow work, but I do like it. And I don't have a lot of Oracle decks that have this darker tone or that feel like they can go into these places. Like here we have fear, negative thoughts, and self-loathing. Chasing, grasping, obsession, revelations, insight, and messages. So there's some good stuff in here. But I was just really touched by the kindness and real grateful. So thank you, Serafina, if you happen to see this, for sending this my way. I really do think this is a well done deck. And I believe Danny and Dustin both have it. So just saying. Hashtag just saying. So that is the Earth, Moon, and Shadow Oracle. Really glad to have it. Looking forward to exploring it. And getting to know it a little bit better. I think this is just a note saying if there's anything going on with your oracle to reach out to her and she will make it right. This is a little bit of an missized box. Like the deck didn't come in quite as tall as the interior of the box, which is not a big deal. It's something I noticed, but it's fine. Like it could have been a little bit more compact is all. So yeah, that is the Earth, Moon, and Shadow. And if you don't already know, Serafina is the creator behind the Wisdom of the Pooh Tarot, which at the time I'm filming this is on Kickstarter. I think still, question mark. Okay, next up, let's talk about a Kickstarter I'm really excited about and have not dug into at all yet. Okay, nothing, my stuff is trying to fall down. Hold on, there we go. Okay, and that is the Book of Shadows Tarot. Oh my gosh, I'm excited about this. I have to admit, I got super drawn into all the hype. I have not opened this up, but these are some hand-done letters related to this deck. This is a very sort of, I would say, this is an experience. This isn't just a tarot deck. Oh, my book's a little dinged, and I don't know if it came in that way or if it's, no, yeah, it feels like it got smushed in shipping. Anyways, point is, this is sort of an experience. So we have a graphic novel here. That this deck is connected to, which I think is pretty freaking incredible. So I'm really excited to read this. I think this will be a lot of fun. But this is also a guidebook. Like we have the meaning of the suits. And I think we also have, yeah, here we go. In the back, you actually have your full write-ups for the deck. So you have a guidebook, but it's also a graphic novel. It looks like there's some really cool spreads in the back. There's also a mockumentary, so a faux documentary connected to this deck that we were sent in the Kickstarter campaign like well in advance of the deck coming out, and I started to watch it and oh my god, it was blowing me away. I'm going to finish watching it and like pull it up again and watch it from beginning now that I have the deck, but it got me really excited. And I think I backed to the tier called The Lost Letters where you also got these, which I'm excited to open up and dig into once I've read the graphic novel and watched so it's a whole experience, right? It's so fun. This is the kind of thing that I geek out on this kind of stuff so hard. But the deck itself, I actually really do like the art style. I think I've already opened this. Yes. I really like the art style. It's quirky. It reminds me a little bit of that sort of Tim Burton-ish kind of vibe, almost. And the cards are glossy, and their shape is kind of compact. I imagine, I don't have any of the 48 decks, but it reminds me maybe of the size of, no, I guess it's pretty much, it's just slightly narrower than the White Sage. Do I have anything else that's standard tarot size around here? Not yet. Okay, well, I feel like it feels more compact, at least taller and skinnier. So that's the backs look like. It's glossy. Lots of vibrant color. And it's this quirky, it's almost Marseille-like a little bit, at least the minors seem to be a little bit, almost kind of, maybe not. This is really fun. I haven't dug into it because I really want to watch the whole mockumentary and read the graphic novel. But we have the coin suit. There's like this, it's just this really funky art style. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get through the graphic novel and everything and then just not want to read it. But it's very like Rider-Waite-Smith, just in this quirky style. There's our cup suit. I love that queen. This is the most I've seen in this deck because I didn't really flip through the cards at all. I just opened it. And then we have our wands. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. Plus, I was just a real sucker for the colors. I was like, the colors are so vibrant that I know I'll like that. Ooh, and then there's some extra cards. What do we have here? So there's the mirror in the mirror, which is interesting, and the stair of lost steps. Those both have similar vibes to me. That's interesting. So yeah, that is the Book of Shadows, an Alchemist Story Tarot by Andrea Aste. Andrea, I think is how you pronounce it. It might be just Andrea. I'm not sure. But he had some really great updates on magic as a science of imagination. I'm excited about this. I don't know. This just seems like a fun thing to just dig into, like on a rainy day, like just kind of get into all the goodies and play with it. So that's what I'm planning to do. I'll keep y'all posted. Okay, the next two decks are both out of print, and I'm sorry, but I've been going on this whole journey into digging more into sort of my Scottish specific heritage, but specifically Celtic heritage, and I wanted some decks to sort of help me do that work and connect me to that energy. And so in light of that, I went on the hunt for a couple of out of print Celtic based tarots. Now, the first one there was a bit of a kerfuffle with, which is kind of a bummer, but I purchased the first one. This is called the Celtic Tarot. This is by Courtney Davis. This is my second copy of this because the first one I bought from somebody and there was a missing card, and so I'm kind of stuck with it now with a missing card, which is a bummer, but I have it. I went on the hunt. I was able to find another copy in a different edition on eBay, and I've ended up with this copy. I've already checked it's complete, so that's great. So this one is by Courtney Davis with the book by Helena Patterson. I have already shuffled this and played with this a little bit. It's a very Pippish deck, but it's Pippish in a style that is so, it's just beautifully Celtic in its design, and I really love that. I think it's just gorgeous. So this is what it looks like. It's got big borders. It's very intricate. Let me just zoom in a bit. But it's got like just tons of, uh-oh. It's got tons of Celtic knotwork all through it. It's just really gorgeous. And one of the things that struck me when I was looking at it was all of the redheads that you see throughout the deck. There's a lot more ginger and red hair, which is not very common, but is something that I very much associate with sort of my ancestry. So I really liked that aspect of it. It is a very decorative pip deck. So you're not going to get a lot from the minors, like no more than you would get from like any other pip deck, really. But I really liked the courts. I really liked the majors. And I just like how old it feels. And yeah, the star card, I mean, of all the cards to be missing, it was the star card, which is my favorite card. And it's one of my birth cards. So yeah, I was like, no. But I guess now I have checked and the card stock feels the same between the two. So I have replacement cards, I guess. And I might just offer them as replacement cards to anybody else who ends up with an incomplete deck. I don't know how that works, but we'll see. So yeah, it's really, really beautiful. But I also wanted to get it because of the guidebook. So that's what the cards look like. Let's take a look at the guidebook. So this is what really excited me, is that the guidebook gets into actual Celtic mythology. So for example, in the Justice card, it says, the Celtic queen holding the scales of justice and the sword of Lugh is queen. What is happening here? Oh, these are the extra cards. Those are the title cards. Oh yeah, these are the same, this is the same publisher, I think, that originally did the Arthurian Tarot and the Norse Tarot. Anyway, sorry. It says the Celtic queen holding the scales of justice and the sword of Lugh is Queen Dana, mother of the gods who invaded Ireland around the late Bronze Age. They were called the Tuatha De Danann, which means the folk of the god whose mother is Dana. This branch of early Celts has brought with them 4 great treasures. And so it goes on from there, but you get to learn about the Celts with this deck. So it's really the guidebook that caught my attention, the fact that members of Celtic mythology are gracing the cards. That really excited me. So yeah, the minor arcana is less decorative, but it has purpose, and this is a nice meaty little guidebook. So I thought this would make a fun deck study for myself to dig into the Celtic Tarot. So this one is, again, it's out of print at the moment, but I don't know if it's coming back or anything, but really grateful to have this. Ooh. I wish there was a better deck tray. I'm going to have to get a box for it, or a bag for it, but since it's only a study deck at the moment, I don't want to like hang it in with my other decks and forget about it. So that's the Celtic Tarot. And then the other one that I was able to find, and I'm so stoked, this was such a good find, is the Celtic Wisdom Tarot by Caitlin Matthews. Oh, I'm super zoomed in. I'm sorry. I forgot. If I was, I think I was zoomed in that whole, hopefully it wasn't bad. I wasn't paying attention to the screen. Sorry. Let me have a sip of my Coke here. So I'm really excited about this because it is a really cool, it's an entire system, and I'm super stoked. So this one I do have to like get out of the box and just keep out of the box, I think. The box is nice, and like for like one of these kind of boxes, it's like really thick cardboard. It's like quite thick. So it's sturdy enough. But the way the cards are held is in this sleeve thing. And I also had to go through all these and reorder them and check to make sure they're all here and all that stuff. So I've done that. This was an eBay find for me. Yeah, so there we go. So these cards are more oversized. That's what the backings look like. And they are quite a bit wider and taller than a standard tarot. You can see here. Maybe it's easier to see here. Yeah, there you go. So you can really see the difference. But But yeah, this one has its own sort of unique system, but the guidebook is just incredible. There's a lot of great stuff in here. This is another one that I want to do a deep dive and a study on. What I was really excited about with this one is that this one has a connection to the Oghams, which is another thing that I'm studying at the moment. So that's really exciting. And there's this whole system for the Wheel of the Year. The actual pages for each card are really in depth. So you get a lot of information, you get background information, you get the Ogham associated with the major arcana anyway, I believe, goes through. Not all the cards. Yeah, I think it's the majors. Maybe not even all the majors. Yeah, I think almost all the majors have a major arcana associated with it. I mean, sorry, I have an Ogham associated with it. But the suits are different. So you have the suit of battle, which is... trying to remember now. Yeah, the suit of swords. So the battle suit. Let's see. So we have the majors. Yeah, there's the majors. Yeah, so you have the battle suit, which is swords. The equivalent of swords. Then you have the art suit, which is cups, I believe. It's the water suit. Yeah. And then you have knowledge, which is the wands, the fire suit, I believe, question mark. And then you have skill, which is the pentacles. I think. I could have those two reversed. I forget now. But it is its own system, so you do have to kind of take the time to get to know it. So this is one that I would definitely need to study. They've got color coding. Maybe not. Maybe that's in my head. I just love the way the book is done. It's really decorative. And you also have in the back, you have like this kind of like really cool index situation. Come on now. Yeah, so here you have, no, here. Let's see. Hold on. Am I talking out my butt? I think I might be. There was something here. What is this? Oh, these are questions for every single card, depending on which one you draw. So they're prompts, like kind of like journal prompts, which is super awesome. So yeah, this is a whole study situation that I want to do. Ogham trees and substitutions for your area. Yeah, anyway, I'm really freaking stoked about this. But this does need a bag, because I don't want to put it back in that box, because this box is really awkward. But I do want to keep this box in good condition in case I do ever rehome this deck. But man, I'm really stoked to have both of these, to be able to study both the Celtic and the Celtic Wisdom Tarot. And then just to top off this particular topic, before I wrap up for the day, the book that I wanted to talk about is one that I'm super excited about, and it is called Scottish Myths and Legends. This is by Daniel Allison. So I have read some really incredible reviews about this. So Daniel Allison is a storyteller from Scotland. And what's exciting to me about that, if you've never had a chance to hear a storyteller, like somebody who does this for like a living, like does this professionally, speak or tell stories, it's something indescribable. But there was a speaker that used to be a storyteller who I used to see speak. And there's something about the way they put words together. I don't know. I have high hopes for this because of that. But this is a retelling of a lot of Scottish legends. I'm getting my handprints all over it because I put like oil on my hands and then touched it. And it's got that, look at, you got like a whole like fingerprint situation happening down here. Anyway, it is something I'm really excited to read. It feels like it's going to be incredibly readable. It's paperback. I'm just really stoked. So I actually read a children's book on Scottish myths and really enjoyed that. I'm also currently reading another Celtic storybook called Celtic Tales, Fairy Tales and Stories of Enchantment. This one includes stories from Ireland, Scotland, Brittany, and Wales. And this one is just Scottish. So I'm really excited about that because Scottish is a big chunk of my personal heritage. So I'm excited to dig into that. So I'm going to finish this one and then I'm going to read this one is kind of the plan. Oh my goodness, there was so much stuff. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I went through all of these things. As I mentioned before, if there are decks you specifically want to see more, like a more detailed walkthrough of, let me know down below. I may not be able to do all of them. Like I'm not going to do the Alchemist one for a while because I want to get to know it. Same thing with the Celtic decks. I want to get to know them. But the ones that I could definitely do walkthroughs, well, I think I've already, have I ever done? I think I did a walkthrough already of the White Sage, but I could do the Luna, the Wild Seeker, the Earth, Moon, and Shadow. Those would be probably the ones on my list that I could do walkthroughs of. So anyways, if you want walkthroughs of any of those, let me know. I think a lot of the other ones I've already done or can't do yet. So, you know, let me know either way. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And until next time, may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye!